Hey guys, this video is going to walk you through completing activity 2.5.2, which is going to look at relative links. Okay, so you'll want to start by opening up your starter file linked up here at the top, which for the sake of this video and time, I've already done that. So if you need to pause your video to get your file ready to go ahead and do that now, and then you can come back and click play. Now, in this activity, we're going to be looking at relative links. So relative links are the ones that we use to navigate to different pages within our website, meaning that none of these links are going to be links that will take you to an external web page or like a site you didn't create. Okay. So if you look over here where we have our files, you can see that there are 3 different pages here. Okay. And what our job is today is to go through and put in our relative links so that whenever we're on our index or our home page, we can click on something on this page in order to pull up the about page or to pull up the resources page. And then also on each of those pages, put links that will allow us to get back home or to get to the about page from the resources page. Okay, so we're going to start on our index page. Okay, the index is always like your home page or your main page. So make sure that that's the page that you have selected over here in your files. Okay, and it should say, welcome, this site is to practice creating links. Okay, so it tells me that our tasks are to add an internal link or a relative link at the top of this page to each of the 3 pages of the site. So one to the index, one to the about, and one to the resources. Okay, so let's do that first. And it wants us to put it up here at the top. Okay, so we're going to put all of this up above our welcome line. So we're going to be up here on line 7. Okay, and make sure you have your tags lined up so they're nested properly. Okay, so they should be actually all of these need to go over. So highlight all of these tags and we're going to tab them over because they're all inside of our body. Okay, so whether it doesn't matter if it is a relative or an absolute link, the tag that's used is the same. So just like in the other activity we did, we're going to use our anchor tag. So every link is going to be an anchor tag. So we're going to start with A. Okay, and then we're going to have some text that we're going to link to. So this one, for example, is going to take us to the home page. Okay, and then we'll close that link tag out. Okay, so let's start by putting in just the text that we're going to link to. All right, so we should just see the word home up here. Now, in order to make this clickable so that whenever we click on it, it actually goes to our index page, we have to go back to our opening anchor tag and we have to add to it our href attribute. So I'm going to click back in this A tag and then I'm going to hit space. And I'm just going to hit the H on my keyboard. And then from this little list that pops up, I'm going to choose href. And then it's going to give me a list of all of the pages. You'll notice what pops up here matches what's over here. And so from here, you would just need to pick, okay, well, when they click on this one, I want them to go to index.html. Okay. And now when you look over here, this is a clickable link. Now we're already on the home page. So when we click on it, we're not going to see anything change because this takes us to the page we're already on. Okay. But when we go ahead and do the next one, all right, now we want all of these, we'll just let them be all side by side. Okay. I think that's the way it was on the example. Hold on, let me look. Yep, they're all side by side. So we're just going to, you can put them all on separate lines, which is easier to read, but they're going to end up being side by side over here. Okay. So the next one is going to take us to the about page. So we do the same thing, A. And then this one's going to go to about. And then I'm going to close that A tag out. And then I'm going to come back over here in my opening A tag. And I'm going to add that href attribute. And this one is going to take me to about.html. Okay, so now since this is going to take us to a different page, whenever we click on this, what should happen is our page over here should change. Okay, because it's going to take us to the about page. Okay, and then let's go back over here and we'll click on index and then just do refresh so we're back on the page that we were on. And then we have one more to add, which will take us to resources. So we're going to do href. This one is going to go to resources. Okay, and then we're going to close that one out. Type in resources and then close that anchor tag out. Okay, so you can decide if you'd rather just type it all out as you go, like we did with this one, or rather you would like to just start with your A tags and then go back and add in your href attribute where it needs to be. Either way is fine as long as you end up with a clickable link right here. Okay, so whenever I click on resources now, this should take me to my resources page. Okay, and if you look over here now, it's pulled up my resources page. Okay, and then if I want to go back to my index where I was working, I'm going to come back over here and click on index. Okay, so these should be the 3 links that we have up here across the top of this page. So that was our first task. The next task is to add an external link below in the example external link section that will point to Google. Okay, so it wants us to make something down here clickable so that when we click on it, it takes us to Google. So in my comment, it says put it on visit a search engine. So I'm going to wrap visit a search engine in my A tag. Okay, so I'm going to open up my A tag at the beginning. I'm going to go to the end of visit a search engine, and I'm going to close that A tag out. And then just like the others, we got to go back in here, add our href attribute, but this time we have to type out the website that we want to go to, which is http://www.google.com. Okay. And so now whenever I click on this, if I typed everything out correctly, it should pull up Google. Okay. Now, if yours doesn't work, you may have mistyped something. The web address may not be correct. You may have a mistake with where you put your href attribute. Okay, so just kind of check and make sure that yours matches what I have right here on line 23. Okay, so now that we have finished this first page, we need to put some links on our About page and our Resources page, because right now, if we go to our About page, we don't have any way to get back home. Okay, so what they want us to do on the About page is they want us to add a link that will either take us home or take us to resources. Okay, because those are the 2 other pages that we can go to from here, other than the one we're on. So make sure that you're on your About page. So make sure over here that's the page that you have selected, because that's where we're going to add these links. Okay, and then we're going to add our links right up here on line 8. Okay, so I'm going to delete that comment, and I'm going to put A. And we're going to have one that goes home. So I'm going to put the word home there and close that A tag out. And then we're going to have one that goes to resources. So A, resources, and then close out my anchor tag. So /A. Okay. So again, right now these aren't clickable because we haven't added in our href attribute. So I'm going to go into each of these. So I'm going to click in the opening A tag. Type the H key, select href, and choose which page I want to go to, which my home is index.html. Okay, and then I'll come down here on this one. Again, hit space, type the H, choose href, and this one is going to take me to resources. Okay, so over here now, if I click on home, it should take me back to my home page. Okay, now if I click on About, it should take me back to the About page, and now I should be able to also get to the Resources page. Okay, but now we're stuck here in the Resources page, so we need to add some links on this one as well that will let us get to Home and to About. Okay, so that way all of these pages will be interconnected, and we can get from one place to another in our website without like having to click the back button. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our links here on the resources page. So make sure over here you've selected your resources page, because that's where we're adding our links. Again, we're going to go up here on line 8 and delete this comment. We're going to put one A tag with the home text. And then we're going to hit enter and put another A tag with the about text. Uh-oh. All right, so now we have our link text. Now we need to add in our href attribute to make it clickable. So go up here on our first opening A tag, hit the space bar, hit the H key, and choose href from this list. And this one's going to go to index. Okay, and now you'll see it's clickable. And then we're going to come over here to our about line, click in our opening anchor tag, hit the space, type H, choose href from the list, and this one's going to go to about. Okay. So now from all of our pages, from here, if I click home, it takes me to home. If I go back to resources, I can click about and it takes me to the about page. Okay. So you just want to make sure that you're able to get to every single page. Okay. By using the links. So just check and make sure that when you click on home, it takes you home. When you click on about, it takes you to about. When you click on resources, it takes you to resources, and then you can get back home. Just start over again. And then also make sure your Google link down here works. Okay. So once all of your links are working, go ahead and go up here and click share, copy link to project, and then go back to the assignment in today's folder. Click your submit button over here and insert your WebLab file as a link underneath your Create tab on your submission window. Okay, if you need help with that, let me know. All right, thanks, guys.